Hey y'all, hey, I'm back. I'm asking that you please subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell so you'll be alerted when I drop another video. Today's going to be a little different, a little more of a story time, so bear with me. I think God just wants me to open more up about just the process, I guess, and behind my decisions, and so we're going to do that. Okay. So I decided to go to Kenya about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I came across this video. This guy named Ambassador Prince Michael. That's what you can find him on social media under. And he had posted a video talking about the Wakanda movie, or Black Panther. But he was referencing Mount Zion in Kenya, saying that, yeah, all this is based on something real, and that the 12 seers of Mount Zion were very offended behind them making the Black Panther movie and sharing some secrets more around the potion that the Black Panther, they had gave him to bring him back. And they were referencing it being real in their what's the word? Basically, they got it from them, and they were very offended. Something so close to them was being shared with the masses. Not that it was being shared with the masses. I think more of acknowledgement of, being shared with the masses, I guess, because it ain't for everybody. And what they were asking was for them to put out an apology, or give the acknowledgments to who they got it from. And it may seem weird to some people. I know I had a discussion with some people about that, and saying like, oh, we live in a time where a lot of things are being shared that once were private, but I just feel like it should be shared from the people that it's coming from, though, not a movie company or anybody profiting off of our real stories. I think, and also they felt that if the story was being told, that they should be acknowledged, and that they should be getting a cut of the story, as they should. They were telling a life story about me. I would think that me or my family, if I was gone, should be reaping the benefits of that. And so I stand behind that. So the 12 seers had reached out to Ambassador Prince Michael and was like, yeah, who are these people, that they owe us an apology. They owe, not even really them, I want to say more of the ancestral knowledge. They wanted that to be covered under saying, yeah, I was wrong for taking something so sacred to you and just putting it out on TV. And I understand how powerful Black Panther was for us, because I was there. I felt energy. It was beautiful. I'm like, yeah, we've been needing this. Our kids been needing this representation, but it wasn't done correctly. And that has to be acknowledged as well. There were amazing Black filmmakers that could have got funding to do this and worked with the tribe and been in communion and just been on the right shit about it. That's how it could have been done, and that's what they want. So anyway, that is what was leading me to want to be in Kenya, because Mount Zion stands in Kenya, and I wanted to feel all that energy, okay? And on the 23rd of December, they are holding for people to come. So maybe I'm supposed to be sharing that information. If you are interested in supporting the 12 Seers and Mount Zion Day, the dates are December 23rd through the 28th. They will be in Kenya. And they are going to take a hike to Mount Zion and have a beautiful ceremony there. And fingers crossed I still make it, but God is telling me I have a different calling that I'm supposed to be focused on, so get focused. So anyway, headed to Kenya, really on a whim. I knew that I wanted to go for that ceremony, but I was checking tickets and it was like November will be like half, crazy cheaper than it would be going into December. So I just decided one day, like, yeah, I'm going to go to Africa now, so I don't just gouge my bank account. I'll buy the ticket for half price and just stay down there for a month, because it would still been cheaper than me paying for the flight in December. I know, crazy, but it's true. So I'm like, yep, I'm about to go to Kenya and get all the energy, get all the synergy from the land, put my feet in the motherland. I'm finally gonna make it, and just booked my ticket. Now there was, when he was talking about us coming to Kenya, he did give us some advisements on what we should be doing as far as getting the e-visa and doing the health background information, getting that to them. So it was on my mind what I needed to be doing, but I think in my travel, I have never needed a visa like I needed for Kenya. So that was a new experience, and I fucked up. So it is what it is. So I went and I looked up like the cheapest way to get to Kenya, and it said out of DC. So I go to Cleveland just to kind of go check on, go see my family before I left out. And I had a lot of time to think, and I was just, went to Cleveland and I hadn't booked my ticket yet because something was like holding me off. And it crossed my mind that it was about my land. Like, I needed to go back down and get my land taken care of before I left. But I was just like, it's a little warmer in North Carolina than it is here. I should have no problem later doing what I need to do. But I don't know what's coming. I have no idea what their winter is about to look like this year. And I should have went down and finished what I had started before I left. And I thought about it and was like, I haven't booked my ticket yet. I should go down there. But then I was like, I don't want to waste any excess money. I don't want to take the flight down to North Carolina and spend that money and in a hotel and do all that stuff when I'm trying to be out of the country for a month. So I put it off in the back of my head and went about my merry way. Ended up booking my ticket and letting everybody know I was off to Africa. I heard a lot of fear, a lot of people worried about me, and that's been for a majority of my adult life, because I do travel, and a lot of my family and friends haven't traveled the way I do, so they do have fear. But I just always tell myself, like, anything I'm facing anywhere else is also here. Any danger, any demons, any people, killers, rapists, whatever, that they're everywhere. Anything that could happen to me anywhere else could happen to me here. So I would just rather live fully and not let fear dictate my decisions. So I'm like, no, everything's gonna be fine. And so I head off. I decided to take the Greyhound to DC, and then fly out from there. So I'm excited. I'm on my way, and I was still having some thoughts about things, but I'm like, oh well, whatever. Now I done bought this ticket, I need to go. And so I get to DC and everything's running smoothly. I went and got me a room because my flight was for the next day, and called a little friend up, to see that I had just met on this cruise that me and Eric had went on, and to see if she wanted to hang out, and it was what it was. So then I got on my flight, and it took me to Boston. And I don't know how I missed this on the itinerary. I don't know if it was just excitement about finally going, that I wasn't really paying attention, that I had 2 layovers, and that I was going to Boston first. But I got to Boston, and they started making an announcement about, oh no, I got to Boston and I was like, oh shoot, I didn't print off my visa paperwork, So I'm like in the airport, frantic, trying to find somebody to print the visa off for me. And I finally came across this lovely lady that decided to help me. And she had me email her the information, and she printed it off for me. Thank you so much. You were great. And so I'm like, okay, everything's okay. And so I go to board my flight, and they start making an announcement like, oh, you have to come, show your passport and your visa paperwork, or you won't be able to board. So I get my stuff together, I go up to the thing, and he's like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, my visa, the stuff for my visa. And so I didn't realize that what I had printed off was kind of the receipt for that I had applied for the visa, not the actual visa. So yeah, it was a no-go. I went back on the website and seen that it said in process, so they weren't finished processing my visa, and I'm at the airport. So I'm like, oh shit, I should have looked into this a little more, but there was nothing I could do now. It was still in process, so I wasn't going to be able to board the flight. And so I was just like, yeah, I'm going to be at the airport, So I just was patiently waiting. I had just took that L that I wasn't going to be able to board today, but was thinking like maybe tomorrow, So I'm like laying back there on one of the lounge couches. I done got myself comfortable and prepared to just spend the night there and leave out in the morning. So it was about I want to say 1 o'clock in the morning. A security from the airport was like, yeah, are you an employee? And I'm like, clearly not. I'm laying out here with this luggage, my computer on my bag, watching TV. Like, I'm clearly not an employee. And he's like, yeah, you can't be back here. You have to go back on the civilian side until you get everything worked out, and then, come back when you get everything taken care of. And also the man that was at the ticketing counter there was like, yeah, you get your visa, and they'll get your flight rebooked for you, So I'm like, okay, no problem. They'll everything will still be taken care of. So I'm not really stressing at this point. So when the security guard was like, you need to go to the other side, it did cross my mind like it was going to make things a little more difficult for me, because I was no longer where I wanted to be comfortably. I was just like, yeah, if I stay over here by the thing, as soon as I get up, I can get working on things. And so it did cross my mind like, yeah, if I go to the other side, it's going to be a little more difficult than if I've been able to stay back here, And so he walks me up to the front, and I'm like, if I book anything now, they won't let me check in till later, so I'm going to just crash here, and figure it out tomorrow. So I actually didn't even get any sleep because the airport's freezing, the lights are on, and just not a homey, warm environment. So I didn't really get any sleep. The next day, I was like check in because us and Kenya are 8 hours apart, so they're 8 hours ahead of us. So that was another conundrum because with them being on different time zones, when I'm waking, business start here, I'm running off of our business time, and by the time 9 o'clock is here, they're getting off. So yeah, it was all over the place, and luckily I always pack food to go to the airport. Note to people that are just like, traveling's too expensive. Yes, you are able to bring the food, all the food you want. Not I wouldn't do soups because the liquid thing causes an issue, and sometimes I've had trouble with some of the salsa I take because it's a little watery, that they don't want to let me through with it. But yeah, pack you some fruit, vegetables, a meal you cooked, take you some leftovers with you, like pack you some food for the airport, and don't spend all that money in the airport for something that you really didn't even want. Like, even if you just go stop and get you some food on the way to the airport that you would prefer, it would still be better than you being in the airport paying crazy amounts for simple things. So anyway, let me digress, get back to my story. So I had food with me, so I wasn't really worried about it. I got something to eat. I'll be fine. So I spent that first night at the airport. So I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be great. So when business started the next day, I'm like trying to contact them, and they're like, we need a picture, and I had sent my passport, and I misunderstood and took a picture. I know. I took a picture of the picture of my passport. I know. Anyway. So they needed a picture of me now, and so I sent that in, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to go through another day of processing because I hadn't done it correctly, So I'm like sitting, and I'm still hoping, because it was like, I want to say 7 in the morning when I got that message. So I'm like, hopefully it can get done, but I'm still calculating off of our business time and not theirs. So needless to say, I was stuck in Boston another day, and I was just like, yeah, okay, so today I'm gonna get out, go see the city a little bit, go get the things I need, because I only had really packed food to be traveling that day, and they were gonna feed me on the airline, going to Africa. So I was like, yeah, no biggie, I'll be fine. But I ate up all my stuff, so I needed to go get something to eat. So I got out, decided to take this venture into the world, and it was pouring rain. Like it was horrible. I only needed to walk about 2 miles, but because I didn't know the city or anything else. Now, I did not walk from the airport. I took a shuttle from the airport to like where their train station was, and then the restaurant that I wanted to go to was like only 2 miles from there, and I'm like, yeah, no problem, I could walk that in no time, not thinking about me carrying luggage or that it was raining. So I started out on my trek. It was the worst walk I've ever went on in my life. It was horrible, but I got to the restaurant. They were friendly. I'm like, okay, turn it back around. Food was amazing. So I'm like, okay, Tasha, suck it back up, because I'm very frugal. People should probably know that about me. If I don't have to spend the money, I will figure out a way to do it. And I have this powerful body. So yeah, most of the time I would just walk or try to figure out, get on the bus or do something around me having to give $30 to Lyft, I'm like, it's 2 miles. I'm not giving you $24. I'll pay for my dinner with that, So Did not call the lift to go back either. I was just like, you got this, water ain't hurt nobody, let's do the thing. So I start walking back, and another thing is Boston sidewalks are like, so I'm like in the rain pulling my suitcase, and it's like hitting dips in the sidewalk and it's like falling over, like, oh, it was a mess, but I was already halfway in, and I'm like, just get back to the train station, everything will be fine. So get back there, and I'm like, I made it, everything's okay, I'll just throw my stuff over a seat when I get back to the airport. And throw my stuff back over the seat. When I get to the airport, it'll dry, I'll just change my clothes. Luckily I had put an outfit in the backpack that I had, so I'm like, yeah, I'll just change my clothes and it'll be okay. So I get back to the airport, and it's just I'm on day 2 of no sleep. So I'm still in good spirits though. I'm like, tomorrow will be the day. Tomorrow will be the day that you get your visa. So I wake up, the visa is there. I'm like so excited, like, okay, you're about to get on the move. I'm sending everybody like, the visa came through. My sisters, my friends that knew that I was going, like, the visa came through. I'm about to get out of here. And so not so much the case. So as soon as my visa came through, I called the airline. Qatar is who I was flying through. I called the airline like, yeah, I need to get my flight booked. My visa's here. And because weirdly enough, like the airline ticketing agent in the airport, they didn't really come into work until like 2 o'clock. And it's probably because their flights are later in the day. And because the flight I was on was the same flight every day. It was at 6:40 every day. So they didn't come in until about 2, and I didn't want to wait. So I just got on the hotline like, oh yeah, let me just call up, get this taken care of, so when they come in, I can just go back, And yeah, I dealt with the nastiest person I've ever like come in interaction with. I was like really on the phone at one point like, yeah, dude, we have a personal beef I don't know about. This man was like talking to me so nasty, and he was like just basically being like, well, of course he got on the phone real friendly, and was like, yeah, no, I'll check the flight today. I'll see if there's any flights for today. And, he comes back on the phone and was like, well, there wasn't any flights available for today, but somebody canceled. So there is a ticket available, and it'll be $1,800. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I just spent $1,000-something on this flight. That's a smooth no, And I guess me being like, I don't know if he was getting some kind of, a piece of the ticket for the sale, but I'm gonna say that that's what it was, because his energy completely changed, and he was like, let me check and see, if there's anything else, So he puts me on hold and comes back, and it's like $1,200, I don't know how he changed it $600 price that fast, but it definitely made me think like, yeah, no, I'm going to just wait on whoever I need to talk to and just get my ticket replaced, And so I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not paying that, because I never imagined paying $2,200 or $2,300 for a flight. I wouldn't have done that. So, yeah, no, I'm going to just figure it out. And he's like, starts getting very aggressive and nasty to me, saying that, I just didn't like the way he was talking to me. Like how he was talking to me, I felt like, yeah, I had left him hanging on the 29th when I wasn't able to board. You know, he was just like, had a real like attitude. So I'm like, okay, well, we don't even need to be arguing. Like, I don't know who you are or why you're talking to me like this, but I don't need to go back and forth with you. If you can't handle it, I'll handle it here. Or, you know, worst case scenario, it doesn't work out and I'll have to go through the bank, you know. And he's like, go through the bank? The bank can't book your flight? Like, this man was talking to me so crazy. And I was like, yeah, I don't even know why I'm listening to you anymore. I don't need help from you. And he like went off on me and hung up. Like, I heard the bang, okay? Like, even though I couldn't hear the bang, how he said his piece and then he was gone, I'm like, oh, I got hung the fuck up on, all right? So, whatever. So I'm just like, okay, Tasha, what are you gonna do? You know, so I'm sitting there trying to really come into the moment of like, yeah, you might have got fucked leaving the back of the airport, you know, that they're not going to try to help you get to Kenya anymore because now they're wanting you to rebook your flight again. He kept on saying like, yeah, it's not our fault that you decided not to get on your flight. Why would we be held responsible for you not getting on your flight? And I'm just like, in my head, like, there's no way that you thought that I got to Boston, it was just like, yeah, I just love it here. I'll just stay here instead of going to Kenya. Like, the fuck? So I was like, yeah, this dude is really crazy and being real aggressive for no reason. But yeah, he had already banged on me. So I'm just like processing that in my head. Like, yeah, how will I talk with them to, you know, kind of get me back on track? So I was like gonna call and complain on old boy, but I was just like, you know, he talked to people like that, karma about to get him, so whatever, you know. So I called back and got somebody else, you know, and I was like, yeah, I'm trying to get my ticket replaced from the other day. And he's like, oh yeah, we're reservations and booking, you know, you need to call this customer service number. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting pointed in the right direction. I call customer service and, you know, the lady, it wasn't that they were not being nice, you know, but they wasn't giving me what I needed. You know, I'm trying to get answers on, yes, I will replace your ticket. But she was like also saying like, yeah, you would have to purchase another ticket, you know. So I'm like, spirits are dying, you know. I'm getting sad because I was just so excited about Kenya and it felt like it was slowly slipping away from me. And so I just kind of was like, I wish they would have told me this in the first place, because I wouldn't have spent 2 days in Boston. You know, I would have just came back home and yeah, not really dealt with all the aggression. Boston is a very aggressive place. Like, people are nasty. And so before I had even called the guy with all this extra, I had seen a security guard that had brought me up front. And I was like, yeah, when I came up here, I had left my neck pillow in the back. Where would I be able to find that? And this man looked at me and was like, the trash? And I was like, the trash? And he was like, yeah, you leaving stuff around, it just goes in the trash. And I was like, do you have a lost and found? And he was like, no. What I said was, yeah, that was my property. And he said, yeah, property to you, trash to me. And I was just like, what in the world is going on? That he would just blatantly be so rude. Like, it's not even that, yeah, your pillow might have got thrown away. It was just so comfortable, how comfortable he was saying that and really putting his chest in there. And I'm like, oh, the fuck? So I'm like, what do you have a lost and found for? He was like, yeah, you can go to the lost and found if you want to, but I'm telling you, you're wasting your time. And I was just like, negative ass fucking energy for no reason, so I just like went, kind of sat down and was like, okay, well, I guess you ain't gonna have a neck pillow for this trip. So then I called them, deal with that man, and I'm just like, this aggressive ass energy from these men, I don't understand it, but I am not here for it. And it was really, in this place I'm in, I'm very spiritually sensitive, so I was just like, ooh, it just felt hard and hateful, and it really just did something to my spirit for a minute, and I'm talking to my friends, I'm talking to Eric, and I'm just feeling very overwhelmed. I haven't slept in 2 days at this point, and yeah, I was just like, why me? Kind of feeling the why me, and yeah, my spirit was broken. I just started crying. After I had got those answers from them, like it was the feeling like I had just wasted over $1,000, and also not making it to Kenya. Like my mind had completely got wrapped around there. Like, this is my life for the next month. I'm gonna be in Africa. I'm gonna have my feet on this motherland soil, okay? Like, I am going to have the sun on me. Like, I just really have been needing, like, I needed a recharge, and this was everything I needed, and Ambassador Prince Michael had been talking about had the new Black Panther movie dropped, because they were already in conversations with them, like, basically you're plagiarizing. That's what they were talking to them about. Like, that's something that we can all understand here, plagiarism. They're like, yeah, you're taking our story and just selling it as your own, but we're real. We're real, and you owe me something for that, and I felt it in a different way, because I don't know if you guys know who Henrietta Lacks is. But she is, her DNA is what has been used to create all kind, I'm talking about worldwide. Her DNA, which they call HeLa, has been used to cure so many things. Like, that her DNA line was able to reproduce itself quickly. Whatever it was that was in her DNA, it would like keep multiplying so fast that even when like the scientists were working, and they would be, because in that time they weren't as sterile as they are now, that her DNA was getting on stuff and just everywhere. They had sent it to the moon. Like, her DNA has been everywhere. And they got nothing. Her, she had died, and they hadn't even told the family that they had took a sample from her, and that they were using it in their labs to produce and really cultivate cures, and they the family really didn't find out about it until somebody, then people poking their nose trying to figure out who she was. Everybody's talking about HeLa, and this woman was trying to figure out like the base story. She wanted to meet the family and all these things, and so they really, from her knowledge in investigating it, were able to have a different point of view on, like, yeah, she got taken advantage of and we got taken advantage of. They're making millions and trillions. Her cells have been shipped all over the world, and we're not getting compensated at all for it, And me reading that story, I think, connected me to how they were feeling in this moment, Like, yeah, if somebody would have, yeah, wrote a story about me, I definitely think me and my lineage should be getting something for it. Not you guys making millions of dollars off my story and nobody knows who I am, you know? And so, and Gila was actually from Henrietta Lacks, her name. They just used the first initials and the first two initials on her last name, you know? So I guess that's what gave me the connection to that, how they were feeling. And so I'm just like, yeah, no, they should definitely justify that. That's fucked up, you know. And so I like, he's like talking about like after Wakanda, I don't know why I keep saying Wakanda. After Black Panther came out, and they seen that their story was being told, you know, they try to reach back over and ask some questions like, yeah, nah, y'all need to rectify this. You need to apologize. And they weren't having it, you know, and then tragic things started happening. And they were kind of being like, yeah, this is the play out of secrets not being something that we were supposed to be holding so sacred and protecting, that it wasn't, you know, that we also, like, they didn't even know how they got that information to be doing that, you know. So they were kind of like, it's as well as you are wrong for creating this and depicting it as a fictional story you're telling, yeah, we're also wrong because we allowed, they got a hold of it some way, so we weren't on our job, you know. So there was like tsunamis hitting Africa, and they were all saying like, yeah, this is because this is all fallout from this happening, you know. And so I was just like, yeah, I wanna feel that energy, you know. And because I do. This is one thing that I guess I've been holding back from sharing, that I do believe we have magic. Like, I believe we have magic, and maybe that's why I haven't been reaching the people that I want to be reaching, because I've been staying on a very, you know, walking a fine line on not wanting people to be like, this fool talking about magic, she lost me, you know. But I do believe it. I felt that since I was a child. Like, yeah, no, I have magic in my body. One day I am going to discover my power, and, you know, it's all up from there. You know? So when they're talking about the stuff they're talking about, and God as well, you know, I believe in God and believe that God can give you anything to change the circumstances around you, you know. So I'm like, oh yeah, you know, like, they better stop playing with them, because, you know, God don't play about his people, you know. So the 12 seers are in Kenya. Mount Zion is where they keep everything so sacred to them, which is, you know, Wakanda, you know. So I'm like, yeah, they better not be playing with them. And then Ambassador Prince Michael came up like, yeah, no, the seers have said, like, they have went, you know, into their meditation or whatever they do. You know, I don't understand that part, you know, because I'm coming from America and I'm coming from my own spiritual awakening. So the things as meditation and yoga and those things that slow me down to get me channeled in to get more from God, the universe, the ancestors, you know, I'm like intrigued, you know, I'm intrigued on what they're talking about. And he like, yeah, nah, y'all keep on playing with us, and if you drop this other movie, you know, there will be hell to pay, you know. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna support it, because I stand with them in what they're saying. You know, I stand in that it's not for them to tell their story. So I didn't go watch the new Black Panther movie, and I'm just putting all my good synergy towards what they need, you know, what they want, and that they deserve it. So the 12 seers made an announcement like, yeah, they keep on playing, and we have gotten permission to display magic. You know, we got something for that ass. And I'm like, oh, magic's real. Like, magic's real just like I thought it was. Like, everything that I have believed is like all aligning right now, you know. And so I'm like, yeah, I want to be there. I'm about to get out there. I'm about to be there with them. Whatever energy they need, I'm about to push my positive energy with them to get what they deserve back to them, you know. And and you know, just like, I want to see it for myself. Like, I don't want to nobody to tell me. Like, I want to see the magic happen. Like, I believe it. I've never been around people that believed it in a way like, yes, we can just push this synergy and towards this and it will be real. So I'm like, I can't wait. I can't wait to get there and see this and be a part of it. And history, you know, like history, us being in the age of Aquarius, like we are in the age of knowledge. So like anything that has been hidden from us is being revealed. Like, it's being revealed. It's showing itself. It's showing what we didn't know or what has not been passed down generationally, because we've been in such a traumatic survival place that we weren't getting like knowledge and stories and sharing from our grandparents and our parents like we should have been. You know, we were kind of just like focused on the day in front of us, and that's how we've been living, you know. But I'm about to turn that around with my line. You know, I'm going to be the grandma keeping all the kids because I want them to be loved on. I want them to be receiving the correct knowledge, you know. So I'm like, yeah, I'm here for all of this. And I believe in it, you know. So I'm about to go down there. I'm about to be part of this. And yeah, it's just what has been on my mind. So I was like, yeah, willing to go down there a month earlier just to be a part of this. And so everything was just, my little heart was just broken, you know. I was just like so sad. Like, I can't even remember the last time I cried like that. Like ugly crying. Like, I just couldn't even stop myself because I was just so broken about it. So yeah, I'm like going through that. I'm crying. You know, to people that's calling to check to make sure that I've gotten where I needed to be. You know, my sister was like so heartbroken to hear me crying like that, and I'm just like, yeah, I know I need to get it together, you know, because I've always been like the strong one, you know. So like when something brings me to tears, you know, it's like they're like, whoa, is Tasha breaking down? You know, so she was just like, you know, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay, you know. And I just really was like, mentally, I don't have the capacity anymore to even try to figure it out. I was exhausted. I hadn't slept in 48 hours. I took like a nap for an hour. I had found this bench in the bathroom and really set my book bag up and stretched out for a minute and took like an hour power nap. So yeah, in the last 48 hours, I had probably slept an hour, maybe even longer, like maybe 56 hours. I had probably slept an hour. So I was mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted. And I was just like, yeah, I just need to go home and regroup. Like, even figuring out the flight, like, I just need to go home and regroup. So I just started trying to work on getting back. The flights were so expensive to get back to Columbus. So I had to, my friend had sent me flights from Cleveland. When I tell you my friends be working, like, she heard I was needing to come home, that girl instantly started looking at flights to get me home. Kyla, I love you, girl. So she was looking up flights, and I'm just like, I'm so exhausted. Like, I don't even want to go back to Cleveland. I just want to go home. So like, I'm trying to figure out how to get home. So I get on Greyhound, and they're like, they have a $200 ticket. And I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. I'll just take the Greyhound and get home. So I go to start heading towards the Greyhound, and just a clusterfuck of things were like slowing me up. And then I called the Lyft that said it was going to be there in 3 to 10 minutes or something like that. And when it booked through, it was saying like she was like 30 minutes away. So I'm trying to cancel that and get another driver. I got somebody else, but Boston is Boston, and I was running behind. So I get there, I don't miss my bus, you know. So I'm just like, something else, you know, like what the fuck? And I was just like, yeah, nothing is going right. Like nothing's going right. So I'm like sitting in the Greyhound. I mean, I go over to the counter, and the man is like actually helpful. You know, he got it swapped out, and didn't charge me for the difference. So I'm like, okay, thank you. I really appreciate your kindness. It has been so rough and toxic as fucking Boston, you know. So I'm like sitting there, and the bus was leaving at 6:40, you know. So I'm like sitting there waiting, and as I'm like nodding out, just sitting there, I just was like, I don't even have it. I don't even have this to do, riding this 15-hour bus ride. So I started looking at tickets. Eric was looking at tickets, you know, and I'm just like, he's like, yeah, I'll just get it for you. And I'm like, no, I don't want to spend any more money. Like, I just felt so overwhelmed with money, just felt like it was just getting thrown away, that I'm just like, no, I don't want to spend any more money, you know. But I just, and he's like, you know, you're there, you're going to regret not checking, you know, just go back to the airport and see, you know, see if they'll work with you. Because the ticket counter is open now, you know, go back, talk to them, you know. So I'm like, I don't have it. Like, I don't have it for anybody else to be nasty with me. Like, I'm exhausted mentally, like, and I don't want to flip out. I don't want to flip out on these people at this airport, to be completely honest. That's what I was thinking. Like, I don't want to just get triggered and go the fuck off at this airport and cause a bigger situation for myself, you know. But I was like on the phone and hearing him just trying to be supportive. So I'm like, you can do this, Tasha. You know, I'm giving myself a pep talk, like, you are powerful. Like, I can't even believe that you got them having you in this fucked up mind state. Like, taking some breaths, like, he like breathe, you know, sitting there listening to me take the breath in, release it, you know. And I'm like, okay, I got this. I'm about to go back to the airport and see what they talking about. So I get back to the airport, and the lady is actually trying to help me, you know. She was like, yeah, I can credit your flight, you know, and but it's gonna be a $600 difference. And I was just thinking to myself, like, that's why I flew out in November, because I did not want to pay this much for it, you know. I did not want to spend this much money on a flight when I still need to be in another country for a month and need incidental money. Like, I want incidental money in case something happens, that I can figure it out, you know. And so really that's what kind of snapped me back into reality. Like, okay, girl, this feels thirsty, you know. It feels thirsty that you're trying to get there and it's not working in your favor, you know. So I just start looking at flights, you know, and was like, I'm going to just fly out of here, go to Cleveland and just connect with an early morning Greyhound. And it worked out that way, you know. After I booked my flight, it was leaving out at like 9:45, and then I would get to Cleveland at midnight. I would have to wait for my check bag. So by the time that stuff settled and I got on the bus to go there, yeah, my time will be running smoothly. Like, I wouldn't be sitting anywhere for too long, you know. That Greyhound, being on there for 15 hours from 6:40, I just I was not. I needed to get home. I needed to get home. So I booked a flight and booked the Greyhound.